Quick questions with David. All right, David, what do we got for this week?
So if all Christians could practice one thing more in their weekly life, what should it be?
Oh, man.
That's good.
I had a very quick answer to that in my head.
Very
The silence of prayer. The silence of prayer, like praying silently in, I think it's funny, like this idea of like a prayer closet, it's always sounded funny to me, but the older I get, the more I realize that we are just inundated with sounds and text messages and phones and computers and background noise. And so the idea of being able to just sit quietly and pray, and then when you're done praying, just to sit and listen. This is like the thing that people forget to do when they're praying. It's like, this is about me, but like, what are you trying to say back to me? And that's the thing. I think if people were to spend more time in silence and more time listening to the world itself and God's voice and the whisper of God and just listening to God, so much more would come out of their prayer life even.
Yeah, I agree. Love it.
I would say for people to just go out and live what they are learning, to actually take it to practice. I think that's where we'll see, God's hand move and really experience what you just read. It really experience what God is calling you to do. I could be one that reads the Bible. I could be one that prays and know something God is calling me for or put in my heart and maybe hesitant to take it and to go forward and do it. But I think every time I actually gone out and done something, I see God's blessing. I'm able to be a help, a servant of God. And that's where the beauty comes. And not only that, people get to experience God also. So not only for me, but for others.
Totally.
Great.
Agreed.
For me, I think the one thing we can practice more is forgiveness and understanding. And when I say that, I don't mean, hey, this person has been doing something to me wrong for so many years and I need to forgive them. That's the bigger forgiveness. But I think a weekly I think we all try to top each other. It's, this person did this, so now I'm upset and I'm going to do this and they're going to do this.
Yeah.
And I just think that if we learn to forgive better, it will avoid a lot of conflict. I think that we are so used to seeing, especially with social media and things like that, we're so used to seeing conflict and issues and not necessarily resolutions. And we don't really get to see the forgiveness part. And I think that if we as Christians can practice the forgiveness part more, hopefully that will spread. But for us also, it really, I think, keeps our sanity. I think that, we know that God was always onto something when he teaches us something. But I think forgiveness is something we need to practice more.
I think that's an interesting way to put it, is forgiveness, because I know there's something that's like stuck with me for a long time. I read is like an argument isn't about being right or wrong. An argument is about finding the truth. And, there's this idea that instead of arguing or, I put my thing on the table, you put your thing on the table. There's a lot of, I put my thing on the table, and if you don't agree with me, I'm going to defend it with my life. And the more I have to defend, and look, what happens when you get into a defensive mode? You get tense, you get stressed, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you get defensive. And I hadn't thought about it as forgiveness, but it's immediately saying to the person who is realizing the other person has an equally, valid experience, and that there are equally, to them it's valid, right? It's the experience that they've lived, and to them it's the facts that they've learned at this point. And so being able to say, okay, this person isn't trying to attack me. This person is trying to express what they're trying to express. And to your point, I mean, if you immediately forgive them and say, look, they're going to not agree with me, but I don't need to get mad at them. I can just love them. Yep. I can just try to see their side, and I can try to understand where they're coming from, and then I might find some common ground. So, but forgiveness was an interesting way to put that. I'm gonna sit on that one. I appreciate that.
You got it.
Cool, guys. Right. So this is always fun. Let's see what next week holds. All right, guys. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.